Amea, Amea. I'm very, very honored today. I have a very special guest, which I think is incredibly courageous, really, really blessing for this planet. And I'm very happy to invite you here to this talk, Andrea M.Winn.
Thank you so much, Sabine.
You're welcome. Well, in fact, we don't know that much about each other. You live in Canada, I live in Germany. We haven't met in person, but through two wonderful people, we somehow our path came together. And we both had the wish to sort of get in contact and to exchange. And I had a very strong feeling that it would be beautiful to make a talk with you because I really think it's really amazing what you've done and what you've went through and what you're offering in this world. So first of all, to those who don't know you, would you like to tell a little bit about you, about where you come from, what kind of a family, what surrounding you've been raised in?
I can give that a try. So I was brought up in the United States, and I have a blended family. So my mother and my original father broke up when I was young. So me and my brother were then soon after that adopted by my mother's next husband. So I was brought up by a stepfather. And my mother and my stepfather were both of them were very, very interested in finding spirituality. So they went off seeking that, and they through quite a bit of searching, they found a Tibetan Buddhist guru that they both really connected with strongly. So from about ages 5 onwards, I was brought up within a Tibetan Buddhist community that was newly established and was newly establishing, was in the process of establishing in the United States. So I was brought up in a Tibetan Buddhist community that was being transplanted and rooted into the Western world. So it was a highly pioneering time that I was brought up in. Does that answer your question?
Well, it does. Yeah, definitely. And I get goosebumps for some reason. I would love to hear a little bit more about what you've gone through there, but I would like to know, first of all, as a child, it sounds like you've already been through a lot, parents separate, going to step families and everything. What kept you in a space of, I want to do this, I would like to do that? Was there anything you were wishing to go for, which was the sunshine in your heart?
Like you mean when I was like a child, or?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Well, that is an interesting question, and really what comes to mind. And also, I just want to mention, I did choose to hold a piece of amethyst. So once you alerted me more to what we'd be talking about today, so just to bring the amethyst energy in, and the energy of the violet flame for just clearing, lower, darker energies. So just wanted to mention that I am holding an amethyst for this, both for myself and anybody else that needs any clearing. So I would say that in my childhood, my parents were so immersed in what they were doing, and I was having to do so much just adjusting to what they were doing. I think I was basically in pretty much a coping mode. And the only other thing I can think of is just like the moments when things were more stable and I was able to play. There was one period, like when I was 6 and 7, when my parents had taken on the role of running a meditation center for this guru that they were studying with. And it was in nature, it was in the mountains of Northern California. And I remember it just being fun for my brother and I to be able to play in nature. And that also included the Eel River was close by. We were able to go swimming like pretty much every day. And so I think, just at least in that period of time when things were more stable, being able to play in nature with my brother, and there were also two other boys, brothers also, who were living there with their parents. And so the four of us, we played quite a lot. So that is what comes to mind in response to that question. That was kind of
Okay.
a difficult question to answer.
Okay. Did you have wishes as a child? Did you say, when I'm big, I want to blah, blah, blah? Did you have any clear idea already? Or maybe in that fun time?
Well, maybe a little bit older. Like I remember when we moved to Boulder, Colorado, I wanted to be an ambulance driver, a policeman, and a fireman. All three. So there seemed to have been some element of wanting to be a first responder.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, so you like the action and the danger and the fighting for people and to help them and survive them, which you are doing anyway right now, right? You are supporting a lot of people in their process, which is, of course, something you know all about because you've been through quite deep, intense situations. Is this something you want to bring into the space? Would you like to talk about what you've been through as a child or as this phase where you were in the Tibet group?
Well, well, yeah, sure. I am definitely open to that. And it is interesting. I never made that connection between that early childhood desire to be like a first responder to what I then went on to do in 2018 with my justice activism. I never made that connection until this moment.
Hmm.
So, so basically, I mean, there were a lot of blessings growing up in the Tibetan Buddhist community. This was a community founded by one of the original Buddhist gurus that fled Tibet. So at this point, I don't believe there are any more of the original gurus alive. So this was a special time of actually being in contact with quite a number of those great masters who had fled Tibet. And at the same time, the community that I grew up in was run as a cult, and there was extensive sexualized violence, which included impacting the children, included myself. So it was a very difficult situation for any child to grow up in. And so it wasn't until I became a young adult and moved out of the cult and did a lot of healing work that I was able to start to form some just basic things like a sense of identity and learning about boundaries, because there was no chance to develop those living in that cult. So then I'll just fast forward to 2017, 2018. I had done some really deep personal development work myself in one of my own coaching programs. And through going through my coaching program, I was able to really develop a very strong grounding and foundation, and I guess maybe just a greater connection with myself. And from that, I went into this justice activism. Like I had never done justice activism before, but I just felt it was really important to bring light to what was going on in this Tibetan Buddhist community that I'd grown up in. So by that time, this community, it's called the Shambhala Buddhist community, had become very powerful, like thousands of students all over the world, centers all over the world. And it was really looked to as a prime example for how to bring Tibetan Buddhism into the West. Like many other Tibetan teachers were looking to our community as this example. So it was a very, very powerful community. And I felt it was important to bring light to what was going on inside of it. So I started a justice activism project called Buddhist Project Sunshine to bring sunlight to what was going on and to bring healing to what was going on. And because I had such a strong foundation going into it, basically I was unstoppable. People had tried to bring light to what was going on for decades and unsuccessfully. But I somehow managed to just really tap into everything that was needed to bring light, including I even attracted an investigator, somebody who was in the forefront of her field in the US for investigating sexual harassment in the workplace. so much in the forefront that she trained other people how to do it. She had some past connection with Shambhala, so she knew what was going on. It had impacted her own marriage, and it touched her heart enough that she was willing to work pro bono with me. And so I oversaw her investigation as women came forward to me who had been sexually assaulted by the guru, who by then the guru was now the son of the original guru. So Carol is the name of the investigator. We both agreed it was best to focus our efforts on the son who was living, because there's not a lot that could come from focusing on someone who already died, the previous guru. So we focused the investigation on the current guru as women came forward to me, because I had found ways of reaching the whole community through social media. So as women came to me who had been sexually assaulted by the guru, I would then create a trusting connection with Carol, the investigator, and then Carol would interview them for hours and hours and carefully document their story. She would then go out to other people who were players in these women's stories, get corroborating evidence, and she was able to put together a very professional, very complete, very compelling report of what was going on. And so then we used my channels for communication, and I took her report and wrapped it in a bigger report, because I felt that part of what I needed to do was to help the community digest the information, because these people, they thought the guru was this lily white prince who was like, and there's no closer relationship than with your guru. So huge attachment to this guru. They thought he was lily white. And I knew it would be hard for them to hear the truth of what was going on behind the doors. So I gave them a reflective practice. I said, please do this. It's actually a Jesuit reflective practice. I said, please use this reflective practice for digesting what is in this report. It will help you to be able to digest what is in it. And so I gave that practice out, gave them an example of how to do it, gave them Carol's report, and it was actually received very well. And the media around the world, they were contacting me wanting to interview me about what was happening. So like I was even had an interview where it was on the front page of the New York Times, and as well in other major media like The Guardian in the UK. And I was interviewed live on public radio like NPR in the States and CBC in Canada. So I was a very shy person before this, but I felt so strongly that this needed to come out into the light, that I was willing to be brave, be like a lion, and talk to the reporters like I was very open with them. So basically, through myself and having the tremendous help of Carol Murchison, the investigator, as well as I think I had maybe like 60 volunteers helping, that I was asking for help and organizing people, and I'll just add one more other thing. Not only did I give the instructions for contemplative digestion of the report, but I also set up 3 subsequent online discussion forums where people could come and they could talk about what was happening and get support. So I also set up facilitation for those online forums, got the help of psychologists, psychotherapists to also support us supporting people in these online discussion forums. So I did a lot more. I did the justice part of exposing it, and I also did the caring part of providing support for people being able to digest, just the most earth-shaking, shattering news that they could ever imagine. So it was, I basically just was in this place of whatever was needed, I was going to do it. So in that way, I was kind of like that first responder. And also, I will also mention that after 2018, after we successfully exposed everything, I did have a nervous breakdown and had to tenderly attend to my nervous system to bring it back to health. So I know that I would do it again, but I also know there was a huge cost to doing that. So how do you receive that story? Is that what you were thinking? might say?
Well, I don't know if there are any words that would fit to what I felt and what I could cry. I have goosebumps all over. I think you're so incredibly courageous, and I could bow, whatever I would do would not be enough for that which you've been through and what you've done for the world. I mean, it's like somebody going into a church and trying to find out what's going in there, which I find interesting, the parallel. It's again a religious institution where this is common and people know. Well, I don't really know what to say. I think it's such a gift, and this incredible courage and this feeling, I have to do this. I've been through this. I want the world to know. For me, this is like, you're a blessing. This is amazing what you've taken out and what you've went through, and also to be really courageous to tell about yourself, what you have to go through, and also the risk of the anti, the not believing and having to prove and all these incredible. So I think there is something in you, I believe, that your soul said, this is my mission on earth. I have to create truth. I'm here for this. And I sincerely hope that you're finding your space, and you're really like, poof, I can now let it go. It's all in the world, and I can really enjoy my life and be happy with what I have. And even if the cave is there and it's maybe not yet all healed, which I don't know if it ever will be completely solved. To look forward, I'm sure you do, and to say what it is I'm doing now is where I focus on. But probably when I asked you what was going on, as you mentioned, many people already have asked you. So this is something which will follow you probably all your life, that you keep telling again the same story. And it's like part of your mission, which is so important, because I think this is such an important message. All over the world it's happening in different circumstances, and you're such a I don't know the word in English, example, right?
That's just what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm able to be an example, because I think so many of us, we live with things that we've been through that were unjust, and we think that there's nothing that can be done about it, that we just, like, in order to live a good life, we just need to move on and just allow that injustice just to be part of our history. And I am an example of that it is possible that if something feels important to you, it is possible to find the resource to be able to bring the light of justice to it. And we don't have to grow up in a cult or be in something as big as what I was in. I think so many people have that experience of something that happened that was really wrong, and their only way to move forward was just to go forward and just letting it just sort of stay in the darkness. But I am an example that if it feels important to you to bring light to it, then even if it seems impossible, it's possible. It's a hero's journey, and it is possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I like about you being my guest, because you show people and give them the power and the trust that even in such a big case you've been through, that maybe that helps them if they go through situations that are similar, or something, injustice or overpowered. I mean, we're all, as you said, we all been through something which was hard, that we get this courage out of our system and say, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take my space back, and I'm going to create justice here, and that I'm heard in the sense of EARD, not HURT. Yeah. Yeah. But I also think everybody has something like maybe a soul mission or something. I believe we come to on earth, like there's something stronger that sort of guides us. And some people like you, definitely, there is a calling, that creates that courage, and that creates the resources, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Not everybody has that. And yeah, there are always people on the planet who do it. There are these big names that have created that, which I always cry when I hear it because I'm so, poof, so thankful that people do this and to free a space and to bring light in something. This is evolution. This is what we're looking for. This is what we want. To bring peace and to bring unity and respect and go out of all these crazy, awful things that happen in humanity, which
Mm.
is so you're taking out you're lit, you're lighting something which is yeah. Anyway, it's I can only say thank you very much. Beautiful, thank you, and thank you is not enough. It's not enough.
Well, I feel it in my heart. I am
Beautiful.
grateful for you.
Mm,
Thank you.
mm.
So I know that you have so much focus on music.
Yeah, I
And
was just going
you
to ask you.
really? Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, can we take it away into another direction and to um, I was wondering what music does to you, but and if music helped you as a child, because what is it you were listening at? Was there something where you felt like, wow, this is where my heart goes up and this is where I'm cuddled when I listen to this? Or what is it you were listening as a child?
Well, again, because my parents were traveling around so much and like I wasn't hearing a lot of music as a child. So I I really felt called to music. Um, Not sure what year that would be. Maybe like 2016 or so. Had this unusual experience of a Christian awakening. And I actually was very anti-Christian up until then, because growing up Buddhist in the United States, there was just so much forced on me of Christianity that I really had a chip on my shoulder about Christianity. But I did go through an unusual experience of a Christian awakening and feeling a strong connection with Jesus.
Mhm.
And I searched for like a church that I could fit in, and oddly enough, you brought this up earlier. The Catholic Church is where I finally like landed, which I I don't have a good explanation for that because I really checked out a lot of other churches first and it wasn't a fit. But as I approached baptism, and really it was a time at the time when, because I went through this whole 1 year course preparing for baptism, but at the time of the baptism, I all of a sudden got involved with the choir. And so I began singing, in the mass every week. And in fact, they even started, they had me cantering right at the beginning, which, was terrifying to do. So I was really, really, really moved by the spiritual music in the church. And I sang like wherever I moved after that. I always like immediately would join the choir. Like the number of masses that I've attended where I was not in the choir, I could count on one hand. Like basically, I was always singing in the choir, and I loved it. And I I it even played a part with Buddhist Project Sunshine, because at one point, the Shambhala leadership, they knew I was going to be coming out with a report and they threatened to sue me and everyone in the project. And so Carol and all the women who had testified, all of them pulled out. They did not feel comfortable moving forward because they did not want to get sued. Carol said, I can't take this professional hit. And so I I somehow, for whatever reason, brought it up at the rehearsal part of the choir that I was in. And a woman there said, I know a lawyer who deals with this kind of thing. Would you like me to connect you with them? And I said, yes. And so that led to me connecting with this amazing defamation lawyer who, again, was willing to work pro bono. And he read like probably 30 drafts of this report, always making sure that we framed it in a way so we couldn't be sued. So, I just bring this up to say that it was like my singing was such an important part of moving through this whole process with Buddhist Project Sunshine, and even like brought me key resources. I mean, we were at a standstill. Everybody was backed out. Nobody was willing to move forward. It was going to continue being a secret. But because of this connection made at the choir, in that context of, it's not just singing, but, with such love of God and of Jesus, like it creates a really powerful, energetic space of love where things can move, connections happen, the Holy Spirit comes through, and awakens things that need to be awakened. It was just very powerful. So I hope you don't mind me, having to answer your question a little later in life, but music played a huge part in my life. And I did finally have a final breakdown with the Catholic Church because some of these same issues with the Buddhist community were coming up, and I'm just like, I'm not taking on the Catholic Church. And so I stopped singing there. I tried joining another women's choir in Halifax, and I just found it did not have the same joy for me as singing in a mass, like, doing it in a place of service and singing, those praises. That is what means the most to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean because I do both. I have done normal pop concerts and tours, but I'm very much focused in spiritual work, not so much with a religion. I'm not related to any religion, but I feel, of course, a difference if I sing praise words or if I just sing a song, so I really know what you mean. And I hope you will find a space somewhere because I truly believe the power of singing, especially in a choir, how incredibly healing it is. And to be in this community and it's such a healing. I mean, it should be done in every school. It should be done everywhere because it's so uplifting, so healing. It's really a fantastic tool. Beautiful. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, what about wonders? I mean, miracles. You've gone through miracles to coming out of this whole thing you've gone through, and that you're sitting here now, healthy, radiating, having your tools, knowing what you want to do, bringing your service into the world, having a nice relationship. I'm sure you believe in wonders, right? In miracles.
I would have to.
Do you have any tools where you say, I sit in the morning, this is what I do when I start my day, and you sort of, because what I do when I wake up in the morning, the first thing is I sit on my chair with my coffee, and I do like prayers and invitations, and I invite miracles. I say, I'm welcoming the miracles for me today. Is there something like that that you offer, that you do for yourself in the morning when you start your day?
Well, you're opening up something for me. I haven't been doing anything specifically to invite miracles, and that's really very beautiful that you are doing that. I do practice just, I would call it exquisite self-care, because of what I've been through. I have really needed to develop exquisite self-care. So I do a lot every morning to create a solid foundation for my day. Things for my body, including stretches, energy psychology. I also have been working on awakening my lymph system every morning. I always eat a very nutritious breakfast, and I do things also for my mind and meditate every morning. And you mentioned my relationship, my partner Eden and I, she is equally as spiritual as I am. So we also do prayers every morning, prayers for our service in the world. And also, both of us, we have a strong connection with the violet flame. And so really wishing for that release and that clearing for our own day, but also for a number of people that we're praying for. People like a friend who went through heart surgery lately,
Mm.
another friend who had a number of losses in her life and was kind of shut down with grief. And also friends of mine who come forward whose daughters had complicated pregnancies. So we've also been praying for them every day. So I think that, doing these things for our bodies and for our minds every day, setting a good foundation, for me, that is what gets me in a good place to be riding each day like a hero. Like my motif in life is leading the hero's journey, and that takes having that courage to lean into the scary places, to do the things that are uncomfortable. And so I'm able to do that every day because of this foundation of exquisite self-care that I set in the morning.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. So you have a great discipline as well. You need a lot of discipline to do this, but it's for you probably like food. Otherwise, you maybe wouldn't function if you don't. It's for me too. I need
Honestly,
this, yeah, this stabilizing start in the morning, and also it's beautiful to do it. It's not heavy to do it. It gives so much to have a stable start before you go into the world. Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah. What makes you laugh?
um, well, I'm glad that the laughter was um, readily present enough to even feel a little laugh in response to you asking that. But I really like to sort of be silly and make my partner Eden laugh. And then that really makes me laugh. So somehow she just brings out the silliest side of me, where really on a daily basis, I do things to just spontaneously make her laugh. And then, it makes me laugh too.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, and I just would like to acknowledge just the tremendous grace of Eden coming into my life. We've been together for, well, I met her March of last year, and it's just, it has, after growing up in the cult and having, such relational trauma, I had given up on ever thinking that I could ever have like a reasonable love. I had a number of really crash and burn love relationships. So I really did work through a lot of my issues and have come to a much more stable place. And part of it is that morning routine. And so I am very, very grateful that even after everything I've been through, that I have received the grace of a really healthy, deeply loving relationship with Eden, and being able to laugh the way that we do on a daily basis.
Yeah, wonderful. And she has a great name, so that's already a wonderful start to having somebody who's called Eden. Here we go.
Yeah,
Let's
you're right.
create Eden on Earth. Fantastic. So, what is is there any book or movie where you say, this moved me, this helped me? I really would like to bring this to the people who listen to this. Is there anything that comes to mind where you said, this was a very important key for me? Or
Okay. This is probably going to kill you, because it's actually going back, looping back around to things we've talked about. I was going through a period, and I'm guessing this was like maybe around 10 years ago, where I was like just staying up really late at night, watching TV, eating unhealthy snacks, and I was staying up really late. And this went on, it was like 3 nights. And I'm like, I need to know what is going on. I had this heart to heart with my inner world. What is going on? What do you need? I will do anything you ask for. And so this teenage child part said, read to me at night. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to read? And it answered Narnia. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I did a Google search to find out about Narnia and found it was a whole series of books. And I just started reading them one after the other. And I had no more problems sleeping. Like, it was so peaceful at night, reading these books. And I fell in love with that character, Aslan, the lion. And this was so incredibly transformative, because remember, I told you before, I had a big chip on my shoulder towards Christianity. Well, I really believe that it is those books that opened me to this Christian awakening that I had, of where I opened my heart to Jesus. And I did find out sometime after that that Aslan actually represents Jesus. So that's why I attribute the incredible magic of that book series to opening my very closed off heart to the Christian awakening that I had.
Wow. Maybe you can send it to me in the chat, the book, just to try
Oh,
to find out
okay.
and have it. And I will maybe post it under the video then. Yeah. Yeah. Well, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that is important to you that you would like to bring into the space?
Okay. I was just complying as you asked. I've just put the book in the chat.
Okay.
So just tuning in to our connection, and to our connection with anyone who will come across this podcast that you so generously are producing in this world. And I just think that I would just like to, well, first of all, acknowledge that, oddly enough, strangely enough, weirdly enough, amazingly enough, we scheduled this interview to happen on the Lions Gate,
Yes.
August the 8th, 2023.
Yeah.
So there is a tremendous amount of power supporting this particular interview. And so I would just like to invite, yours and my energy to come together in the space of this energy of the Lionsgate portal. And even realizing we even spoke of the lion, Aslan. So we've got, double lion power here. And just for us to create an energetic imprint for everyone who listens to this, that is of deep love, of possibility, of being able to go for your dreams, of being able to follow your heart and to live your soul's purpose, and to know that the universe is a benevolent universe, that the universe loves you and supports you in you doing what you came to do in this lifetime. So may you never doubt that. So I wish to leave that imprint for everyone who comes and gets to experience what you and I co-created today, and especially acknowledging that you're the one who created the space for this interview, and you brought forward such powerful questions, and you've been so lovely to me, inviting my best out. So that's what I'd really love for us to be able to leave together within the recording of this interview.
Beautiful. Wonderful. I can't tell you how many goosebumps I had today to talk here. So many goosebumps. It was like Jew the whole time. Everywhere it was working. And by the way, I have the same color as you are wearing today. Funny
Oh,
enough,
wow.
coincidence. And yes, I love that. I love that finish to close up with that. I think it's totally beautiful. And I really am very thankful for your presence, for you being here on this planet, bringing everything that you're bringing here. And your little girl, may she be happy and bring this joy part out as much as she can, and that she trusts to dance and to sing and to be happy here, because she's so welcome. And yeah, I wish you a lot of luck, a lot of beauty, a lot of joy, And I'm very happy we're connected. And thank you very, very much for your openness and your honesty and everything you brought in the room.
You're welcome. And I am very grateful for the connection with you. What a beautiful source of light you are. And I very much look forward to us staying in touch and further illuminating each other's paths and work in the world. And I wonder if I may also offer something to your listeners. I had mentioned to you before that short Divine Lake of Peace meditation that I
Yes,
did. And I had asked if that was something I could offer. You said that you would share it in the information below,
definitely.
the YouTube video. And so it is it's a very short meditation that guides a listener into a state of peace just in 5 minutes. And I think it's something that can be hugely helpful to people, especially within the turmoil of today's world. So I would love it if you could share that with your listeners, as you had suggested you could in the comments below the video.
Definitely. It's on my plan. I will be very happy to do that. And I'm looking forward to hear it myself. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So you are in Canada right now, or where do you live now?
Yeah, east coast of Canada in New Brunswick.
Okay. Well,
But I'm connected with the whole world
yes,
through these channels.
of course. You will be reachable. I'll put everything under the video. Everybody can reach you. And so if they have any questions, they can come directly to you. And yeah, I'm really, I don't really know what to say. Everything has been said. So maybe just thank you, thank you, thank you, and many, many blessings. And yeah, I wish you beautiful path, and we will meet again soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sabine.
You're welcome. Amen.